Yona.
and Officer Stepping.
Yep. That dynamic duo is back for another episode and another riveting Tell the Truth Tuesday. So this week we continuing on the same topic as last week. Title of this one is Who Changed God's Truth? Part 2. So we dug in a little bit last week, you know, about how things have changed. And see, I told you we were gonna give you some start dates, like when this all started, because if you don't believe, if you think the Bible, first of all, is a religious book, you crazy. It ain't a religious book. Whether they want to admit it or not, it's a history book. And it tells our history, the history of our people. But the reason and the only reason they keep publishing and pushing it out is because they know who they are, because it also tells their history too. It tells when they got their glory, when they started changing laws, times, when they came into power. There's a reason his name was Alexander the Great. We call him Alexander the Freak. You know, he was fruity than a fruit cake and a fruit bowl on your living room table. But that ain't my business. That ain't my business. But there's a reason they put so many people high up there. And so today we're gonna start out. Uh, Go ahead and give me Second Maccabees chapter 4 and 11. We're gonna go way back in time, and this is out the Apocrypha. If you don't have an Apocrypha, get you an Apocrypha.
All right, let me put a little light on it.
Mm-hmm. You get your light. I got an
Okay.
intruder. Yeah, give me. Come on. You go over there. You lay down. Lay down. Go over there, Judah. Yeah, Second Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 11. I'll give a little backstory. We're talking about Simon here.
Hey,
You
hey,
know.
Yona, go ahead and read that. 'Cause I can't hardly see it.
Okay. All right. This is chapter 4,
Mm-hmm.
Second Maccabees, and I'm starting at verse 11. And it says, "And the royal privileges granted of the special favor of the Jews by means of John the father of Eupolymius, who went ambassador to Rome." He said that's a key figure right there. If you know your history, you just heard the word Jews, and we just brought up Rome.
Mm-hmm.
For amenity and aid, he took away, and putting down the government which were according to the law. Let me read that again. He took away and putting down the governments which were according to the law. He brought up new customs against the law, for he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself. And he brought the chief young men under his subjugation and made them wear a hat. Boom,
Mm.
boom, right there. Under royal privileges. Of who's royal? Of what royalty? And I just told you, we talking about Simon here.
God.
And he's in, obviously we're dealing with the Romans. We in the Roman captivity. Now, mind you, this
Right.
is an apocrypha. They'll try to tell you it's not canonized. But at the same time, they can't discredit who they're talking about here. I bet you they won't discredit this time period we're talking about right here. They'll back this up in a whole nother book, but when it's in the apocrypha, be like, oh, we don't know what that is. So now we just said he brought up things to go against the law. Excuse me, Shalak, brother. I gotta let this dog out of here. He messing up my class. Ugh. All right. Sorry for the interruption, Israel. Judah stiff necked and hard headed, even in puppy form. Judah don't want to act right.
Right.
So now he's changed laws. He's brought things that go against. They say he gladly built places of exercise under the tower itself and brought chief young men under his subjugation. We know how they bring people under subjugation. There ain't no talking. You getting beat, you dying. This is what you gonna do. Now, such was the height of Greek fashion. Now, how we go from special favor to the Jews by means of John the Father. Now, all of a sudden, we going against the law. You see, there's a change happening right here. There's a change
Right.
happening right here. Now we got Greeks involved. We know that it's just
Yep.
another word for Edomite. Now Greek fashions increase and heathenist manners. I'm sorry, Shalak. Now such was the height of Greek fashions and increase of heathenist manners, though the exceeding profaneness of Jason, but the ungodly wretch, and no high priest. Ooh,
With no high priest.
with all this going on,
Right. Right.
we profaning God. Because earlier he said he took away the government
Yep.
that upheld the law. So, well, the high priest was part of the government.
And then he also said right there in verse 11 on the end, he said he brought up new custom against the law.
Law.
He said new custom.
Mm,
So it's some things that they put they
mm,
was doing against our laws.
mm-hmm, and no high
Cause it,
priest, no,
yo,
no one,
no high
no one
priest.
there of authority to stand up because they removed them.
Right.
Verse
Wow.
14. The other priest there say now they said there's no high priest. Now they say there wasn't no priest. Now look,
Right.
this how deep 14 go. That the priest had no courage to serve anymore at the altar.
Wow.
So the high priest gone, and the priest that's left, they cowards. Said they, I'm gonna read that again. The priest that had no courage to serve anymore at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, hastened to the partakers of the unlawful allowance and the place of exercise after the game of discus called them forth.
Come. See. Woo. See.
Things,
See that.
we got quick how things just changed out right there.
And you know what? And you know what? And I'm glad Yahweh, our Father, sent His only begotten Son.
Man,
See what I'm saying? That's that's
because
why
that's our new
Christ
high priest.
came.
That's the
Yes,
Lord. He the new high priest. We
priest,
got a high priest now.
and we us, he was the he was the sacrifice, he was a sacrifice. He
Mm-hmm.
sacrificed his life for us, so we didn't have to have the Levite, our brothers, to stand up, because all look what all is going on in this,
Mm-hmm.
what, about 3 or 4 paragraphs. I mean 3 or 4 precepts right here.
Mm-hmm.
They change. They
Mm-hmm.
change. They brought a new custom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Knowing
Look. See, I'm showing this here in ancient times
right,
because the same people that was in power then, same people in power now. And we
con,
gonna watch. We gonna get to the meat of this thing, and I'm gonna show you just how this so-called royal dude. And we talk about privileges with the Jews, and all of a sudden,
right.
all this wickedness going on. We gonna get to these fake Jews and this wickedness they with, and
Hmm.
how they got our people partaking with it because really they can't do it unless we partake with them.
Right.
Because as long as we park and take with them, they got it. They can keep it going. Because the minute we cut it off and do right, what happened to them?
They're gonna get cut off. They're gonna be
All
cut
that,
off.
all shit. The real Jews are back. Oh, no more
Right.
heathenism. You know what I'm saying? All right, let me go. We finna get to
Keep
the
on
meat of
reading.
this. All right, now this is verse 15.
Hmm.
Because he just said they went to allowances of all unlawful things and places and exercise after a game of discus. They out there really having fun playing discus frisbee. They throwing discus around. Verse 15. Not setting by the honors of their father, but liking to the glory of the Grecians best of all.
Mm.
Meaning they was having so much fun. And like, you know what? Forget them laws. Man, this is where it's at. And these
Hmm.
and now mind we talking about the priests now. We still talking about them priests that lost courage. High priest gone, the other priest lost courage, and they doing all this. Verse 16, by reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers, whose customs they followed so earnestly, and unto whom they desire to be like in all things. For it is not a light thing to do wickedly against the laws of God, but the time following shall declare these things. Now, to me, being in the truth, being woke up, all that I just learned right there from ancient times, it's that last line that really hurt my heart. But the time following shall declare these things. Look what he said. For it is not a light thing to do wickedly against the laws of God, but the time following shall declare these things. We in that time following.
Yep.
Now we just watch the Romans come in. They showing special favor to the Jews. That's where that other scripture we should probably pull that too, where it says a gift of spoil the heart. That's what they did. They spoiled the
Yep.
heart. They came
Yep.
with gold trinkets. They drinking, having a good time. All they harmless. And I bet you it started off something small. They probably slaughtered a hog. No one ain't supposed to be no pork in the city. They like, oh, but this is our custom when we eat. All right, they allowed the swine in. Oh, we got you now. Strike one. And then slowly but slowly just got them to start accepting more and more, more and more, more and more, more and more. Now things changing everything. Now we know we ain't supposed to have our head covered during prayer or when the scripture coming out.
Wow.
They
Thank
building
you, Art.
altars. You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you, Art.
Now we got people in here with hats.
Hey, but Art, speed it on up today. Who
We
doing
gonna
this here
hold
saying
on,
they?
hold on. We gonna get there first. All right, we gonna stay in
Okay.
Second Maccabees. I'm gonna go Second Maccabees 6 and 8.
6 and 8. Okay.
Yeah, because we gotta declare these things.
Right.
So this is the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 8. Because again, this is who changed the truth of God, part two. If you didn't catch last week, you need to go catch last week's class. Come on, catch up to this one. So this is Second Maccabees 6 and 8. Moreover, there went out a decree to all the neighboring cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy. Ooh, there go another Roman name. The last time we heard a Roman involved with governors and all that, all kind of wickedness started happening.
Hmm.
So now we got to go out a decree against the Jews. Ain't that the same Jews he was just showing favor to?
Yep.
See how they do you? That they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifice. Didn't I just say that? And how that happened the first time they let them bring that swine up in the city.
That's
No, it
why.
ain't
Yep.
supposed to be no. Oh no, you let us do it. We ate at the table, so we our swine been at your table. Now you gonna eat the swine with us. That's how it go. And whosoever would not conform themselves, meaning
Yeah.
either you finna do what I told you to do. Whosoever would not conform themselves to the manner of the Gentiles
Good time. Hmm.
should be put to death. So
Wow.
you gonna kill me for listening to God? Because that's what you tell me to do. If I won't break the Lord's law, I'm gonna be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery. I see the present memory. There you
Misery.
go. That's
Right.
the other. I see the present memory from what happened to my peoples from these decrees. We gone in captivities. They changing laws. Not only, you know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna back it up. I'm gonna back it up. We're gonna jump up. We're gonna go up to verse 5. This is where I should start it right here. Verse 6,
Verse
really.
5. What,
Verse
verse
6.
5?
Yeah, Malachi 2 and I mean I really should have started at 6 and 1.
What, Malachi?
No, yeah,
Maccabee.
Maccabees. Yeah, second Maccabees. But I'm not trying to get I can't give them all to me, but second Maccabees 6 and 6, because I started at 8. Because
Okay.
I wanted to show the decree that went out. That this was
Okay.
actually an order. Because again, it's who changed God's truth. We just seen that a decree went out from a Ptolemy, and if you know your history, who Ptolemy is, that's one of Alexander the Great's generals right there. Alexander the Great dead now. He got people in his stead. They giving orders. But verse
It's,
6 says, neither
I,
was it
I,
lawful.
I'll read it. I can. I got the light on it now.
Okay, yeah,
It
give me
said.
that.
It's Second Maccabee, chapter 6, verse. I'm gonna start at 5. Verse 5. The
Okay.
altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbidden.
Mm,
Neither was neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts or to profess himself to all to be a Jew.
mm,
And
mm.
verse 7, and in the days of the king Bert every month they were brought by bitter const, what's it,
Constraint.
constrained to
Mm-hmm.
eat of the sacrifice. And when the feast of what's that
Bacchus.
Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in and possess
Procession.
the possession to Bacchus, carrying Ivan. Verse
Look.
8.
Yeah.
Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor city of the heathen by the subjection and
Ptolemy.
Battalion against the Jews, that they shall observe the same fashion and be partaker of their sacrifice.
Mm,
And
mm,
who and whoso would not conform themselves to the manner of the Gentile shall be put to death. Then
mm.
then a it said then might a man have seen the presence of misery.
Mm, mm, mm. Look, that's who changed God's truth to a lie. Not only did he change God's truth to a lie, I told you you can't even know the truth. Don't
Yup.
even practice the truth. So now
Hey,
that the truth is coming back out, people asking questions, wondering how we got to this state. This is how we got to this state. It started right here.
con.
This is also why he said you can't let your enemy be by you. Cause
By
he
you,
gonna
right?
come up very high and you gonna be very
Very
low.
low.
You gonna
Con.
be he gonna be the head, you gonna be the tail because of shenanigans like this. You know what? Drop down to verse 12.
Verse 12. This is second Maccabee, chapter 6, verse 12. Now I beseech thee that read this book.
Who?
I beseech those that read this book.
He talking to us, y'all.
Right.
This is our ancestors right here talking to us. When I see those words, so if you tell read on.
That they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishment that not be for was it district
Be
the
not for
destruction.
destruction.
Yeah, for us be for destruction, but for a chasing chasing our nation.
Mm,
Salaki.
mm,
It said for it is a token of his great goodness when the wicked do are not suffering any longer time, but for forward punishment. For not
mm,
as with other nations whom the Lord will patiently for
mm,
forbear to push till they punish till they be came come. So what's Salaki Salaki? I'm having hard trouble to read looking at these words.
I got you. I got you.
All right.
We gonna do you like Elder. We're gonna get you big print.
Okay.
We're gonna get you some big print. Well, I got you. I'll read it
uh,
out. Okay, it says verse 14.
Start back
For
12 again so we can get a
okay, I got you. I got you. Now it says, now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for your chastising of our nation. So this is correction for our nation.
nation con.
That's what he's saying. This is correction for our nation. For it is a token of his great goodness, when the wicked doers are not suffered any longer time, but forthwith punished, meaning, hey, we taking our butt whooping right now. It's going to get our butt. You got more than one child. You never want to be that last child, you know, because, hey, it ain't good. Because if they still angry enough to whoop you, something wrong.
Con.
They should be tired from the first two. So that means you really finna get it, you know. So, not for other nations whom the Lord patiently forbear to punish, till they become the fullness of their sins. So dealeth he with us. So he dealing with us right now. He dealing with us right now. Uh all right, we get out the little print for you. Jump over to Malachi 3 and 7. Because this is where we at now. And then after we wrote this scripture, now I'm gonna bring to the light how we got to what's going on in modern days. And
Malachi
how
what?
3 and 7.
I gotta get them big letters on that one. Dang, I can't see. Salaki, Salaki. Malachi. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 7. Even from the day of your father, ye are gone away from my ordinance, and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, said the Lord of hosts. But ye said, wherein shall we return?
Stop right there. That's what's happening right now. The Lord got the prophets out here on the streets. We telling everybody, trying to bid them back to the marriage. And you got the scoffers talking about return to what? That's what they say. Return where we returning to? But see, at least these Jews, these Hebrews here, these Israelites, when they said that, they knew who they were.
Con,
They knew what they were returning to. They were being funny. Now our people just do it out of plain ignorance, out of plain, unadulterated lack of knowledge. And what hurts even more is they don't even seek the knowledge. We pouring it out. Average brother, people just like them. I know brothers I stood on the corner with, so dope with ain't trying to hear it, but they see the change in my life. They can see what the
con,
Lord did for me.
con,
They still refuse to acknowledge
con.
it, you know. But hey, whether they hear or forbear, that's one thing. All right, that's enough scripture. Now let's. I just showed you historical facts, and y'all can go look them up in their history books when all this went happen.
Con.
When that decree went out, where it said it's illegal to keep the Sabbath, and if you kept the Sabbath, you be put to death. They documented that. They just like they documented the genocides and the crusades under so-called under God's law. Everything they did was against God's law, but have the nerve to say they do it in the name of God. Who y'all playing with? So what's the name of the class? Who changed
Change
God's
the
truth to a lie? All
con.
right. So now let's see how things have evolved and changed. We don't need no scriptures for this. If you over the age of 20, no, I take that back. If you at least 28, you know things because you grew up watching shows like Bewitched, Ricky and them. Now look, all right, let's start with Ricky and Ricardo and them time. Let's start with Lucy and Ricardo and Ricky. In that time, if you was a homosexual, you you didn't tell nobody. You really kept that on the low low. Even in that time, you kept that on the low 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 low. You you couldn't even just think about all things you could not do in the 50s. You couldn't cuss like that. The radio was censored. You couldn't hear motherfuckers and bitches. There wasn't even no bleeping it out. That fact, we can go so hard as you had to make the song with no cuss words
Cuss word. Yep.
because they didn't have the technology back then to bleep it out.
Con.
So you made a radio version and then you had an album version. If you couldn't even be too provocative in your music. Everything was suggestive, sweet melodies. Summer breeze
Yeah.
makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmines in my mind. Now come on, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Now you just got people talking about bust it open. I'm I'm gonna lick you here. I'm gonna touch you there. You know what I'm saying? When we, you know, and this
When
song
we
direct. You know what I'm saying? Look, back then women didn't wear pants. If you wore pants back then, you were ostracized. You mm, you can't tell you what you might as well have been took outside stoned to death. You supposed to have been a lady. You
I've been
put
a
your dress
lady. Con.
on, go in there. You tend to the house. You tend to the babies. Then they slowly started planting little seeds. Oh, start a feminist movement. We equal. We want to go to work too. We want to go to work too. We want to do this. Now y'all got y'all equality now. Y'all out here working 9, 10 hours just like us. Some of them longer. Yeah, you getting that bag. But who raising your children?
Con.
Because you're not raising your children. You can think you raising you maintaining a child. You're keeping a roof over their head. You're keeping them fed. You making sure they go to school. They gotta go to school because that's who's raising them. Even I have to admit it. I see the trick now. We are no longer raising our children. We are maintaining them. They're like pets. Just like you train a pet, right? They're training our children. That's why vocational training, technical training, you know, educational career. This is an indoctrination into the slave factory. Mental slavery. Before I send you out here, I don't need you thinking freely. I need you thinking like I think. And back in the day, they had what they said was God morals. Now it's there's no such thing as gender. I'm gender fluid. I'm binary. I'm asexual, trisexual. What?
Ain't
Where'd
no
that
such
come
thing.
from?
No such thing.
They putting it in the cartoons, starting them young, getting them getting. No, no. Mm-mm. 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 Where we do this at? How we get from uh in God we trust and all that to uh now you can't even be upset if a man who identifies as a woman walks in the bathroom with your daughter.
Right.
My, how
I
things have changed.
I want to give a I want to get a precept because you know what I'm saying. That's more important. Back then when we was coming up, you know, in our era, our big mama was trying to show us what they taught, what they've been taught. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Christianity was the right way. But now,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? But they did taught us the Bible. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't teach us the right how to read the Bible
Mm-hmm.
because that's how they got taught. Um, I wanna bring out Psalms Psalms 78 and verse 5. I want to bring out two of them.
Go for it.
All right, because that's what you know what I'm saying. Now the women somehow they want equal right, they want to be equal to us.
Mm-hmm.
But who
Mm-hmm.
teaching the children?
I won't say who raising your child. Cause you know, if you doing all this, if you gotta go to work, you paying bills, you working 8, 9, 10 hours, your child at school 8, 9 hours, all you doing is coming home to yell at them, tell them what they ain't did,
Yep.
fix them something to eat, send them to bed. That's maintaining. Even I had to acknowledge that. Cause I love my children. Love them to death. I admit my faults. Man, these almonds is good.
Okay.
Hmm.
This is Psalms chapter 78 verse 5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For for he established a testimony in Jacob,
Mm-hmm.
appointed a law in Israel,
Mm.
which he command our father that they shall make them known to their children.
Mm.
You hear that, Israel? We
Mm-hmm.
supposed to make we supposed to make the laws, statute, and commandment clear to our children.
No, but see, we can't teach your kids God's laws. They got to know their laws. See, that's the
No.
problem. And that's why they took God out of school.
Mhm.
That's the other problem. That's when God used to try to be in schools. Even though we know He don't dwell in buildings made by man's hand. But they at least made you stand up. God was in school. You could bring up a Bible verse. Bring up a Bible verse in school now. See what happens.
My second precept is Proverbs 22 and 6.
Mm.
Because we forgot, we got caught up in this wicked world, and we got caught up in this rocking us to sleep, and we forgot about this. That's why a lot of children now is disobedient, and disobedient to their parents, because you know what? Because what, we got rocked to sleep, we got spoiled. This is what happened. This is chapter Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6.
Mm,
It said, train up a child,
mm,
train
mm,
up a child in the way he shall go.
mm,
Can we say that? Can
mm,
we train? Can we actually say, I train my child to in the way to he or she can go?
mm.
No, you cannot say that.
Look,
You cannot say that because this is what the Most High telling us. If we would have knew back then what we knew then, we would have trained our children better. Our children would have
con,
got it in the truth.
con.
But the Most High had to let us keep going, and then till He wake us up. Now He's saying this here to us, Israel. We got to do this to our children. It said, train up a child in the way he shall go, and when he is old, he
Mm,
will not depart from it. We have to
mm.
keep these laws, statutes, and commandment in their face.
And whoever's watching this video, if you see this video and you just happen to be at this part in the video, it will nobody else say it. I'ma say it for you. It's all right to tell that boy put that doll down.
Right.
It's okay to tell that little girl go get the doll, put a dress on, and play. It's okay to draw gender lines. A boy is a boy, a girl is a girl, a duck is a duck, and it is what it is. Stop the foolishness. There ain't no such thing as gender fluidity. There's no such thing as binary. This is male, it's female. Point blank. Period.
And I want to bring one more out.
Come on.
Now, they put out a law that said that we cannot discipline our child, right?
Mm,
Who you gonna believe? You gonna listen to the Most High God, or you gonna listen to men? Now
mm,
watch what the Most High God told us to do.
mm-hmm.
Give me Sirach uh 30 and verse 12.
Sirach 30:12. We ain't gotta go that far. You
No,
was right there by it. Sirach
right there.
22 and 14. Thou
Give me
shalt
that.
beat him with the rod and shalt deliver his soul from hell. That's
Right.
a
That's
that's
one
how
of
you
them.
do
But
that.
The Most High God show us how to discipline our children, how to whoop your
Yes he
children.
did. Yes he
What
did.
is
You said Sirach
Sirach chapter 30, verse 12. Watch this.
verse 12.
Um,
I got you. I got
Watch
you.
this here.
Because I know that's that small print. I got you.
Uh-huh.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 12. Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat
Say,
him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrow to thine heart. Chastise thy son and hold him
no,
to labor.
no, hold on. No, you can't discipline your child. See this. You see how the so-called white man tell you cannot discipline your child, but the Most High said
Mm-hmm.
right here how to discipline your child,
Mm-hmm.
cause He know that we were
Mm-hmm.
gonna be stiff necked. We know He know us, cause He's our Father.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So why are we listening to the so-called white man, and we need to listen to the Most High God?
Look, because hard, stiff necked people. I'm gonna tell you why. We're gonna go ahead and close it out like this. Like I said, it's gonna be short and sweet. Let's go. First Kings 8 and 47. We're
Okay,
gonna let's wrap this thing up.
man, it was getting good.
Yeah,
Cause we can say, man, we can go a whole bit of different
look,
ways.
it's,
How
look,
how they just change
look.
God truth into a lie.
This is a part. This is a three-part session before I move on to the next
Right.
subject. You know what I'm
You
saying?
said
Because
you said First King
yep,
chapter
8 and
8
4,
verse 47.
47, and because we're gonna dive into this soon.
Okay.
Y'all take a look at this, Israel. I know a lot of people, you know, this so
Con.
this We gonna dive into this book. We're gonna go through these maps, and yeah, cause we gonna expose the lie. Who changed God's truth to a lie?
Con.
We we gonna give
This
little
is
history lessons, and we gonna go to the Bible and prove these things.
Con. This is First King chapter 8, verse 47. Yet if they shall bethink themselves in the land whether they were carried captives, and
Mm-hmm.
repent and make supplication unto thee in the land of them that carried them captive, saying, we have sinned and have done perversely, perversely, we have committed wickedness,
Mm-hmm.
and and so return unto thee with all their heart and with all their soul in the land of their enemies, which led them away captive, and pray unto thee towards their land, which thou givest unto their fathers, the city which thou hast
Oh, that
chosen.
was enough. That's enough. That's
Okay,
enough. We passed that. The whole point of that is we need to rethink ourselves, Israel. Come on. We in the land of our that we were carried captive. He's talking to us. It's plain and simple.
come,
Let's get with the program. Now, don't worry. Like I said. All right, hold up. Matter of fact, I gotta give a law. So I'm gonna give a law. This is gonna be Joshua 1:8.
Joshua
This
1
book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night,
and 8.
that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. Then thou shalt make thy ways prosperous, and then shalt thou have good success. Now I chose this particular law because earlier when we read in Second Maccabees, after the high priest was gone and the other priest that was there had no courage to stand and to do this right here.
Right,
The book of the law shall not depart out thy mouth. They let it depart from their mouth. And even in the end, after it said they chose the Grecian ways or the heathen ways over this, they felt great calamities. Felt great calamities that he said that the later times shall tell. Look where we at now. We had kingdoms back then, people. We were still teaching them how to wash their butt and get rid of bacteria.
come,
Now they got us living in the bacteria. All because what they did look fun. Look what calamities befell us. We we give away 100% of our resources. Our resources don't come back to our community. We're the only people that do that. We give away 100% of our resources. Come on, Israel. So part three coming next week. Then I'm gonna close this out. We'll move on to the next topic. But next week, you know the topic, Bruce. So get you a few precepts together just in case.
I, I got
Because I'm only pulling like three or four just to
you. Right,
really drive it home. Then we start the discussion. I just want people to think about it. Like, and like I said, we got books, we got historical facts. Like the Bible is a history book. I could read out this Bible, then you can Google it, and they'll have it in their books. Lines up.
come,
It's not a religious book. This really is a history book, and we're gonna prove it. So with that, Israel, we say shalom. I appreciate you,
shalom.
bro. We'll see
No
you next
problem.
week. Let's
Shalom.
get it. Shalom.